My name is Mark Eilers. I'm playing Naya midrange at GP Miami. It's a midrange deck with Naya. I'm not playing Domri Raid and I'm not playing Loxodon Smiter, nor am I playing Thragtusk Restoration Angel. I want every threat that I play to be good. I'm playing 24 lands and then 8 additional mana sources for Avacyn Pilgrim and 4 Farseek, so that once the game gets to the late game, every threat that I play every turn should be very difficult to deal with. So it's just a very difficult deck to handle for most of the decks in the field. I decided to play the deck because I like the ramp strategy, and in the late game, every spell that I'm playing is typically very difficult to answer, and they can all close the game very quickly. So it doesn't take too many cards to win. For the mana base, there are no basic lands in the deck. I'm playing 22 total dual lands, and then 2 non-color producing utility lands. I have 1 Gavony Township and 1 Kessig Wolf Run. Typically these Naya creature decks are playing Domri Raid, but in the testing, Domri Raid was fine against a lot of decks, but you have to be committed to running close to or more than 30 creatures, which leaves very little room to play other spells such as Advent of the Wurm and Bonfire of the Damned. The curve of creatures starts with the mana elf. I have 4 Avacyn Pilgrim, and then there's only 1 2-drop. I play 4 Voice of Resurgence, which is very, very good in numerous matchups. And 3-drops, we have just Boros Reckoner, and we have 3 Huntmasters. And then on the 5s, we have 4 Thundermaw Hellkites, and there's 2 6-drops, Aurelia the Warleader. In my sideboard, I have 3 Unflinching Courage for the aggro matchups, 2 Boros Charms for control and anything with a lot of point removal, 2 Garruk Relentless, which comes in both against aggro and control because it can make blockers and it's very hard to deal with for the control decks. 4 1-0s, I have a Ground Seal and Rest in Peace. 1 Assemble the Legion, which comes in against control because it's just another hard to deal with thing that'll end the game eventually if the games are going to go real long. A Fog that comes in against any aggro deck, and Manned Hexproof to try to potentially race. I also have 2 Blasphemous Act in the sideboard, which come in against any aggro deck that I leave my Boros Reckoners in, as well as Manned Hexproof, because it can potentially kill the creatures. I don't really have another way to do that in that matchup. The last 2 cards are Ruric, Thar, the Unbowed, which comes in against any spell-heavy deck, any deck that I think is going to have more spells than creatures, because it basically locks them out of casting spells, because they'll just take too much damage and die. I think my best matchup is probably any blue-white-red control deck, because they rely on burn spells to kill creatures, and a lot of my creatures are very resilient. They only have so many Pillar of Flames, and if I can get Voice of Resurgence out, it shuts off their style. Their entire style of deck is to play spells on my turn, and Voice of Resurgence doesn't allow them to do that because they get punished by the elemental tokens that it would create. What I like most about the deck is that the diversity of the threats that it presents. Each card is good in multiple matchups. As long as you get a good mix of lands and spells, you should be favored to win just about any matchup.